cancel out the demo. Double check things. Alright. Hey guys, what's up? It's Terradog. Welcome back to GT Sport. So, for today, we are looking at... We're finally going to get to look at the new Porsche Taycan, which, I mean, honestly, I could have just bought it and used it in a GT League or something, but I don't really like doing things that way. I like pushing the car as hard as I can. I like being up against actual people, even if it is just a time trial. And so that's what we're doing today. So, well, you see I'm buying a Lancia Delta. Don't worry about that. Yeah, let's take that color. So the time trials today feature this car, obviously. Otherwise, I would not be buying it. And, what else? The Porsche Taycan. So, as should be obvious, I have not driven this car yet at all. So, things are going to be interesting. And if I remember correctly, see, it's weird because it's electric, but I think it has a turbo, so that's interesting. I'll just go with the silver. Yeah. Alright, now before starting this stream, I took a look at the replays for the time trials. I took a look at the times, and I'm basically going by the Kudos Prime thing where it shows your DR, your SR on the website, and all that, and they come up with this like this score and everything. Basically, I use it to help set a target for qualifying in races, and I'm going to be using that same target for time trials because that should still give me an idea of where I should be. So for both events, actually, they're in the mid 121, running about a mid 121 for the leader. So based on that, I should be able to pull off at least a 24.6. So, we're gonna give it a shot. So yeah, there's no tuning in this one, and then there's tuning in the other one, which that's going to be extra exciting because it's on dirt. Now, while there is no tuning, I can of course still mess with brake bias, so I may do that. But I still like to take a look at what the settings are. See if I can get an idea of what to expect from the car, different behavior stuff. That's interesting. So we have a launch gear and then a second gear. Yeah, looking at how the power will be split, how the torque will be split, and all that. Just to get an idea before I actually go into it. course, we're not going to need that first gear. Alright, I can tell you right now the car feels heavy, which, well, that's a worked lap already, which should be expected from an electric car. But yeah, let's back out, take a look at the weight of this car. So 5,060 pounds. Wow, that's like a truck. That's like a Ford Raptor with max weight reduction right there. That's absurd. Batteries are heavy. Alright, so we have to drive this thing with, you know, a little extra care and attention because of that added weight. We really use good trail braking technique, good trail braking, maybe a little rear bias, and we're gonna have another penalty, so that lap is done. Alright. Alright, I just missed that apex entirely. Can I have just a lift? No, I still have to brake. Or maybe if I lifted earlier. Okay, I think I understand why this was not put into a one-make race. Because, oh my goodness. This certainly doesn't handle like anything else I've driven. I'm having a really tough time with this car. Like the Mercedes from 2 weeks ago, I actually did pretty well. I didn't think I was going to because I did it on like the first or second day, which I'm doing today with these cars. And I made a comment at the end of that video, oh well, you know, 29th out of 500 or whatever probably isn't going to be as special as, say, like top 200 out of 10,000, but well, I still landed in like top 300 out of about 10,000 by the end of it. The grip just isn't there. More rear bias, perhaps? I'm just gonna start braking extra early. Try and get these apexes. It's like I think I'm braking early and it's still not quite enough. Oh my gosh, where is my... I don't have any grip. It's fast. It's really fast in a straight line, and oh, I missed that braking point there. But I'm really struggling around the corners here. It's so heavy. Alright, more rear bias doesn't seem to be the answer here. Let's put it back to the middle for now. So I'm not really sure if that was helping me or not. It's hard to tell if it's just my driving or if there is a setting that I can improve. Okay, so we're getting about the same as my goes, and there's a penalty right there. So no sense in finishing that lap, because both that lap will be invalidated, then the following lap will have a penalty served on it. Alright. See, the other thing that's catching me out is, you know, having this one long gear, because for this track, you don't need that first gear. You just don't need it. So I'm basically not shifting at all. And I'm used to shifting as I drive, and it helps me keep track of, well, how fast I'm going, knowing which gear I'm in. If I could just keep the rear end out of that wall, I'd be doing a whole lot better. We're gonna brake a little early here. We're just barely on time. Keep it nice and tight. Oh wow, yep, I cannot. Normally just any other car can easily take that little bend flat, and this car cannot. You really need a lot of patience when you're driving this car. Alright, well, that's a terrible first corner. And I did it again. I gotta turn in earlier. I think that's the key here, is start diving in a little bit earlier, because of how the rear likes to swing out just that little bit. Then on the brakes before the crest. Into the power. Get into that apex. A little bit of a lift here to keep it tight. And then a little bit of left foot brake there to keep it tight. And oh, well. And I missed my brake point, didn't I? How about a little bit of handbrake to try and keep off the wall, and that did not end well for me. But I could probably escape without a penalty. We're just going to be a little conservative through this final corner since there's no point. Alright, let's try it again. It's like I try to get on the power, but there's no grip in the front. So even though it's all-wheel drive, it kind of feels almost like an FF. The way the weight is balanced. Alright, turning in, early, come on. Alright, so I did a little bit better, but I still missed that apex by quite a bit. So yeah, you need to have a lot of patience, and it feels almost like an FF in the way that if you're not patient, you get really awful understeer when you're trying to exit a corner and when you're trying to enter a corner, and just pretty much everywhere you get. Just about any time you're flat on the throttle and you're not going straight, your front tires are sliding, which isn't what I would normally call fun. So it's unfortunate, but I kind of sort of expected this, but didn't expect it to feel quite like this. I was expecting maybe the driving dynamics would be kind of sort of like the Tesla Roadster was in GT6, hopefully, or something. But, oh well. Alright, there we go. A little bit closer to that apex. Time I slowed down a little too early. Come on, come on. Oh, man. And that still would not have been on target, even with that 1 second lead. There's the wall again. All right. I have to brake earlier. I feel like I have to brake earlier. Either that or there's something else I'm doing wrong and I'm not sure what it is. Whether it's just basic technique of coming off the brake too harsh or getting on the throttle too harshly. It is more weight, so it'll probably be beneficial to be a little smoother on my braking and throttle. Ah, dang. I did not... That little kink, you never have to, like, lift or brake in, like, any other car. Alright. Smoothly in. Alright, we're gonna brake here a little bit early on the power. Still missing that apex. That's a little too early on the brake. I'm overslowing. It's really weird driving without engine noises. It really messes with your sense of how fast you're going, which makes it even more difficult to gauge what is correct, what is not correct as you're approaching a corner. Alright, well that is... I feel like I was like just ever so slightly too late. Just gonna touch the controller stick a little bit to keep the controller active. I do have it plugged in, but I want to make sure it doesn't shut off on me, because that's how I'm getting my headphone sound to work. And for my mic to work. Alright, well this was an awful start. But, you know, I just gotta get the tires warmed up before I can do a nice lap. So this is like the opposite of my experience with the Mazda Demio, which is probably going to be strange considering I spent a while already talking about how this car kind of sort of feels like an FF with how heavy it is and how prone to understeer it is. So that's probably not a really good description. It's more kind of like, well, driving a Bugatti Veyron, I guess, but yeah, something like that. Something like the Bugatti Veyron, but not as loud. And that's probably a more fitting description. It's like with the Demio, there were all these corners where it's like, okay, well, this is normally like you have to brake here or at least have a lift, and the Demio is like, no, I'll just geez, talking and driving is hard. And the Demio is just like, no, I'm not gonna brake, I'll just lift, or I'm not gonna lift, I'll take it flat out. And this car is like slight bends where you think, oh yeah, I can go flat. No, you can't. I mean, there's a few where you can, but more often than not, you will not have a good time of it. I gotta get that power nice and early on that corner there, and then here. Alright, so after that awful start, I'm beating my record. If I don't mess up the final corner, I kind of messed up the final corner. I'm just barely hitting my target, and I don't think that's quite good enough. I know I can go plenty faster than that. Alright, trying to really push. It's not quite worked. But yeah, you need a lot of care to get slowed down into the corner. And no, that's gonna be this lap done. Try again next lap. I want to at least... Well, that was much better than I expected. Okay. I should have gotten on the power earlier, like much earlier. You can kind of sort of chuck it around a little bit, but again, it's a little bit funky. Alright, we'll see one more time if I can beat my best lap, and then if not, we'll move on to the next one. That first corner is so difficult to judge. That's how I got into the power too early. It's so easy to overthink it. And no, this is not going well. So one last lap, because I really haven't done very good at all here. I've whiffed so many corners, and I kind of wanted to focus more on this car than on the Lancia, because the Lancia isn't exactly new. It's new to me because I haven't driven it yet. But you know, it's been around for quite a while, since like Red Bull Ring. It's just been months. Alright, that one felt good. Alright, let's not mess this up. Kind of messed it up. But I save it there. Very nice. And the final corner, dang it. Alright, one more. I want to... That final corner is annoying. And I'm already behind somehow. Yeah, that's it for this. I'm not getting anywhere here. So, I'll probably come back to that another time, but I've spent enough time to get a good feel for what this car is about. So, we're going to move on from here. So you can see my best lap, I just kind of botched that second sector, so I really could have gone another like 6/10 faster if I hadn't messed that up, or at least another 4/10 faster or so. But I was on pace for beating my lap by like about 6/10. Alright, so let's move on. Now, this should be interesting because of, well, we're on dirt, obviously. So, yeah, let's just do this. I think the other thing that's going to make it interesting is tuning is allowed. Right, so just like with all the time trials, there's one where tuning is not allowed and one where tuning is allowed. Alright, so first knock off the traction control, and I have plenty of mileage points, so we're just going to max this out and then see what I'm allowed to do. Okay, it's gonna let me do max power, max weight reduction. Okay. You know, I'll just keep it even for now. But I don't get that. Okay, so we have an open front rear split. Let's see, let's do this. Yeah, just go crazy with the rear and then come back to it later. That'll work. Start with that. Alright, let's start with this, see what happens. And I've already screwed on the jump. Okay. Let's just run this and see what the car how it behaves. Alright, so what I can tell right now is my gears are a little too long, which I kind of figured that might happen. We're just gonna reset the default, and then actually no, what is this? Yeah, we're gonna run that actually and see what happens. And we're gonna lower this. So it's good to have the ride height, but I stiffen my springs, so I should be able to lower some without sacrificing ground clearance. totally missed my brake point there, so we're going to go a little wide here. Alright, I do want more brake lights to the rear actually. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I want ABS off or not. See what happens there. Let's keep ABS on, since that's what the faster drivers have set up, even though on a loose surface, technically ABS off should be better. Alright, so in terms of the quartering, we need to make some drivetrain adjustments here. So knock this back down, knock this down. Yeah, we're gonna knock this down too. See how that works. Alright, I'm liking the feel of the car out of the exit. Still a little bit pulling to the front more than I'd like. Turn in a little earlier. Alright, so we need a little more suspension work here, because I'm not able to get that front end in the way I'd like to. A little more rear brake bias. Thought I would try a different line through there. Didn't quite work. This is where left foot braking really helps. I was late there. Got a little excited because I got in front of my ghost. I wasn't really sure how I did it. Immediately made a mistake. I was running close to the edge on that one. I thought I could, well, I'm doing a lot better in this than I did with the Porsche, as you can see. You know, very quickly getting to my target and surpassing it. Let me double check that. I was, no, I was aiming for 24.6, so I did not yet quite beat the lap I was going for. So we're gonna retry. Actually, you know what? Just for the heck of it, this is probably going to end very poorly, but yeah, I'm actually quite happy with these settings. At least with the suspension settings. The car behaves nicely on the jumps. It's difficult to balance between getting good behavior on the jumps and getting good cornering. So I think I've gotten a pretty good setup for that right now. As for, the differentials, I feel like they could be tuned a little bit better, but any gains would probably be marginal at this point. And I'm at that point where it's hard to tell what is tuned, what is just driving. So 53rd, I didn't bother to check my rank on the other one. But anyway, yeah, let's just do this. And see how that works. It probably won't, because I still have quite a bit of braking going to the front. Which will make I'll lock up and not be able to steer. We'll see what happens. My speed drops dramatically faster, or at least it seems like it does. And they must be doing something, because I'm already ahead of the Ghost without trying anything special. I feel like the ABS wasn't too happy with my left foot braking. And I can toss the car in a little easier. Okay. So something needs to be worked out in the suspension on that. Or the drivetrain. Something needs to be worked out with that. Let's make that behave better. So I'm ahead of my best lap, but behind my previous lap so far. That could have been a lot faster. Yeah, there goes my Ghost. Trying to do like a Scandinavian flick or something like that, and I don't have the grip to make the weight transfer work. So I kept the momentum, but I could have had a better line through there. It's really confusing when my splits are negative, like showing that I'm leading, and then I see my ghost jump ahead. So that's just because of my best lap for this session. I'm going faster, but compared to my all-time, I am not. So eventually I'll get things to hook up. That's a bad throw. I just said throw. That's a jump. Alright. I'll try a little more rear brake bias. Exiting that corner. Oh, I turned in too early. Okay. So it's weird when you take a corner differently and you approach the next one with more speed or more grip or whatever. Yeah, I was setting up the slide through this corner, and that was bad. Power. Yeah, I'm trying all these different lines and they're just not working. Alright, what can I do? Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this tune. And then start messing with it. Okay. Well, that is an entirely ruined lap. Now, I didn't want to mess with the dampers or springs, and this is why I saved the tune, because I figured, you know, once I start messing with it to try and get better quartering dynamics, then the jump is going to kind of fall apart. I could go a lot faster through there, but I was very conservative. Okay, maybe not so. Yeah, my problem is because of the way I'm approaching, I'm getting myself screwed over on the first hairpin. And then I'm trying to recover and it's not working. Because I'm not going back to the ideal line like I should be. There was the corner I was looking for. That technique. Alright, let's do it this way then. tidy and tidy. Since the car won't behave quite the way I want, I'll just be a little more patient. Alright, so I'm all messed up because I was looking at the lap times. Did not quite hit my target. If I give it a dab, a left foot brake, right before the crest, I think it should behave a little bit better. But yeah, despite all that, I'm still beating the lap. Oh yeah, I got too heavy on the brake and locked it all up. Alright, so there's a lap that is at my target, so that was nice. Or within my target. Great. So I'm gonna double check, make sure that's saved. I'm actually quite happy with how that turned out. 47th, and it's not too bad. Though considering it is like the first or second day, I could be doing a lot better. This was the best time when I started, and now it's been beaten. So I would need to go even faster, probably, maybe a little bit. Let's take a look at how rank. So I am 47th in the Lancia, 62nd in the Porsche. Now, let me double check this. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to figure out if the ranking board has changed on the if the leader has changed on the Taycan lap. So this was, I believe it was this one that was the best. Or not. Okay, so it looks like everyone's improved their time a little bit Or maybe, or at least the top two have, or not. Oh, I don't even remember. Okay. We may have had a lead change in this one since I started, and I can't remember. But if you feel like scrolling all the way back in the stream, you can find out. But even then, it's not that significant. Only an improvement of about 1/10.5. Whereas this one here was a mid 21. I want to say it was one of these two guys. Now it's a 20.9. So probably, you know, about a half a second improvement. And yet I'm ranked higher in that one because that car is just easier for me to understand and drive. Alright, well, this stream is supposed to be about the new car, so let's see if I'll give this one last try. See if I can improve on this. May have gone a little too fast. Trying to load the ghost. Oh wait, no, it's loading right. Okay. There it is. The order is kind of scrambled up. That's doesn't seem to be sorted in any way. All right. Right, we're going to want to turn the ABS back on because I expect this car to struggle immensely without it. Okay. So can I improve at all? I know I could have easily gotten like another 3/10 at my best lap. That's cute. That's interesting. So what I did just there is I decided to try and see what would happen if I did a little bit of left foot braking like I was doing with the rally event. And the effect is kind of interesting. You get quite a lot of weight transfer. When you try it. But if you keep the throttle pin and you just touch the brake, you get quite a bit of braking force. Now, I don't see the ghost, even though I loaded it. And that bothers me. Okay, let me just stop. The ghost should have passed me by now, and I don't know why it's not there. I loaded the ghost. Let's try it again. Unless I turned it off by accident. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I'd like to have some idea. Why is the ghost not showing up? Alright, well, that's annoying. I'll just complete this lap and then, figure out. Now, the other thing is, was I set on 3 or was I set on 2? Will it matter? If I could just keep off that wall, everything would be fine. Same with that one. It's really, really annoying me that I don't see a ghost. So why didn't my best lap ghost load? That's garbage. Usually, you can load your best lap ghost, and then you'll end up racing your best lap ghost for your first lap, and then you'll have both your best lap ghost and whatever lap ghost you just set to go up against. But here, I seem to be only able to get the ghost for the current session, and I'm not sure why. I hit load ghost, it said it was done, and it wasn't done. And that's really, really annoying. I wanted to actually have some kind of visual reference to judge my driving against my best lap, and now I don't have that. You know, so that when I decide to try something new, I can have some idea of, is this working or not, right away, instead of having to finish a lap. Like, I could see right away that, yes, that first corner was slow, even before the ghost came out. But, you know, for other things, you know, that would be a little more subtle. Like, that ghost was about a second slower than my best. Yeah, I started trailing off the brake a little too early there. I felt that I had slowed down too early, or too much, that I braked too early. Overcorrected. Alright, so now I think I have a feeling for how to deal with that little bend there. So easy to just jump on the power a little too early. Alright, so I'm like almost like a third of the way there. Oh crap, oh crap. And I messed it up again. Alright, let's go. Of course, that's not an issue with the car, it's an issue with track knowledge. I'm always so uncertain about some of these corners, simply because the walls block my vision, being able to see where the outside is, where the exit is. Alright, but I'm gonna get in one nice lap, hopefully, before I end the stream for the day. Since, well, there wasn't really a whole lot to look at here. It's like every time I do good, when I do really well in an area where I'm struggling, without fail, I almost immediately make a mistake in like about the next corner or so, and in an area where I have not been struggling. So I get a little bit too excited about my success. All right, here we go. Yeah, I missed my braking point. I'm gonna suffer through here. See, it's like you have to dive in early enough that the rear doesn't end up hitting the outside wall, but late enough that the front doesn't hit the inside wall. This one, it'll get close, but not quite where I need it to be. Alright, so I'm getting a little bit better of an idea of how to spot some references. Again, it's like I know the track, but I don't know, I'm relying like before on the vision and not really letting the track knowledge work its thing like I should be. So I had a really good momentum through that corner before, which I did not have in my best lap before then. I want to say maybe I was on setting 2. Let's try setting 2. Just a quick brush of the brake seems to be all I need. Alright, so as awful as that lap was, I did so good in the final corner. Jumping on the power a little too harshly. So I've gotten close, so I should be able to beat it. Alright, so I was correct in braking earlier there before that crest. Probably a little too rough on the brake. Because that spot should be okay to brake on and get down to speed for the corner. So there is a technique issue there. I smooth in my brake and my throttle, which, you know, quite vital in a heavier car. Not only does the handling improve, but so does even the straight line braking. I did not just brush the brake on that one. Alright. That's a new best lap? Or did I just run the same time that I had before? I feel like I just ran the same time that I had before. Which, if that's the case, that's kind of bizarre. Ah, that should have been fine. I was really hoping I had the grip there. Could have steered in a little earlier. Yeah, got that wall tap at the end, but I am beating my best lap. So, alright. Well, the Porsche Taycan. So that was lap 4. Let's go ahead and see the replay on that. You can actually get a chance to look at the car. Or, you know what, I'm actually going to back out of this so I could look at just the best lap replays. So make sure, double check that that's saved good. Alright. I forgot to check my rank. So I moved up to 55th from 62nd. Not too bad. Okay. So let's take a look at both replays. So we'll start with this one. With the Lancia Delta. That's just some wild and crazy jumps right there. This event was very lenient with wall taps, so even the best time taps the wall quite a few times here and there. Looking at this now, I feel like maybe I could have stiffened the springs a little bit more. Or something. There's something I could have done there to further improve the handling of the car, because the wheels are really coming up in the wheel wells when you look at it. So I probably should have stiffened a little bit more after lowering it. Anyway, onto the main event here. You know, it's weird. This car, it looks like a Porsche. It doesn't really feel like a Porsche when you're driving it, though. But I guess that's normal considering it's an EV. Just look at how red hot those brakes are. And that explains why I was struggling with the braking so much, because, well, not only the weight, but these brakes heat up so fast. So even though you have regenerative braking, as we can see with the little red and green things at the fuel gauge, little red arrow pointing down as I'm accelerating, green arrow pointing up as I'm braking. There is regenerative braking. Now, would that have any physical effect, you know, different from what I just had if there was fuel consumption turned on? I have no idea, because I haven't tried it. I would hope so. Or actually, I'm not sure. Because, again, I don't really like how the physics can change drastically between offline and online play, where you're looking at, you know, at least a second or two difference per lap time, while otherwise driving the exact same lines, same braking points, and all that. So I would expect that if there was energy that could be regenerated, that some of that braking force would go into regenerating the battery instead of heating the brake up, and then you would get better braking force. which, you know, would be ideal for such a heavy car. Yeah. Well, it's about time I end the stream, so I hope you guys enjoyed. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'll be sticking with YouTube or not, depending on how things go with Kappa, because as you see, most of my content is gaming, and you know, unless I want to deal with $42,000 fines for every single video I make, I will have to make all of my videos non-searchable, pretty much invisible from YouTube, which completely defeats the purpose of even doing this. So I might move to Twitch, and if I do have a Twitch account. It's TerrorDog1490. I hardly ever use it because I like to have, you know, archived videos like what I have on YouTube. And I can't do that on Twitch. I mean, you kinda can, but not to the same extent. I also like to edit my videos and make them look nice, you know, show the different camera angles. You see how when I'm doing a race video, I'll have both the first person and the replay camera intertwined. Or the same thing with an Ace Combat video. And you can't do that in a stream. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hopefully something gets changed with the regulations. But if not, this might be my last video on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a good run. I had fun. And that's gonna be it for today. I'll see ya.